The wedding photographer captured the exact second my son turned to me in front of 300 guests and said, loud enough for the microphones to carry, "Mom, leave. You're embarrassing me." No hesitation. No lowered voice. Just those 6 words that sliced through every memory of me carrying him when he couldn't walk, feeding him when he was sick, working nights so he could have days. I didn't cry. I didn't argue. I simply nodded once, set my champagne flute on the nearest table, and walked out, past the floral arch I'd helped pay for, past the guests who suddenly found their phones fascinating, past the life I had spent 36 years building for him. That night I drove home alone, radio off, windows down, letting the cold burn tears I refused to acknowledge. By morning I understood something irreversible. Love that must beg for respect is no longer love. It's leverage. I had raised Adrian alone after his father died in a highway accident when Adrian was 9. I was 28, grieving, terrified, and suddenly the only adult in the room. I worked double shifts at the hospital, came home smelling of antiseptic, and still made sure he had hot meals, clean uniforms, birthday cakes shaped like spaceships. I never complained. I thought sacrifice was the language of motherhood. Somewhere along the way he learned a different language, entitlement. His fiancée, now wife, Lydia came for money and carried herself like it was armor. She smiled sweetly at family gatherings while quietly cataloging everything I didn't have, designer bags, vacation homes, a last name that opened doors. Adrian began echoing her. My thriftiness became cheapness. My practicality became small thinking. My pride in paying every bill on time became controlling the money. The wedding was their coronation. I paid for half, quietly, without fanfare, because I wanted him to have the day he dreamed of. I stood in the back during photos because Lydia said the front was reserved for immediate family. I smiled when relatives asked why I wasn't at the head table. I told myself it didn't matter. Until it did. After I left the reception, the calls started. Not from Adrian. From cousins, aunts, neighbors. "Are you okay?" He was stressed. "Weddings make people crazy." I answered politely, said I was fine, thanked them for checking. I didn't mention that my own son had evicted me from his happiest day like I was staff. The next morning my phone rang at 8:17. Adrian. No greeting. "I need the lake house papers. The deed, the trust docs, everything. Lydia's parents want to see them before they sign off on the down payment for our condo." No apology. No "how are you?" Just a demand. I sat at the kitchen table. I'd refinished myself and felt something shift inside me, quiet, final, like a lock turning. "I'll look for them," I said. He exhaled, satisfied. "Good. Sooner the better." I hung up, opened the drawer where I kept the envelope, ran my fingers across the worn paper. Then I closed the drawer again. When he arrived 2 days later, he looked impatient, already scrolling emails on his phone. Lydia waited in the car. I invited him in. Offered coffee. He declined. "The papers?" he asked. I sat across from him. "Before we talk about documents, I need to talk about the wedding." He sighed, theatrical. "Mom, I was under pressure." The photographer was behind. The cake was melting. Lydia's dad kept asking about money. "You told me to leave. In front of everyone." He rubbed his face. I panicked. "I'm sorry. Okay? Can we move past it?" I studied him. The boy I'd carried through fevers, the teenager I'd driven to college at dawn, the man who now saw me as an inconvenience. "I've moved past a lot," I said. "Double shifts so you could play travel soccer. Eating ramen so you could have new sneakers. Standing alone at every school event because your father wasn't there and I was working. I've moved past all of it. What I can't move past is you deciding I was disposable the moment you got everything you wanted." He stared. "You're being dramatic." "No," I said calmly. "I'm being clear. Respect isn't negotiable. And neither is dignity." He laughed once, sharp. "So what? This is about punishing me. Keeping the lake house because I hurt your feelings." "It's about earning what you receive," I answered. "The lake house isn't a prize for being born. It's a trust. And trust requires character." He stood. "You're unbelievable." "I'm consistent," I corrected. "The same mother who taught you manners, honesty, and kindness. The one you forgot when it became inconvenient." He left without the papers. The screen door slammed harder than necessary. Weeks passed. No calls. No texts. Just silence. I filled it. Morning walks by the river. Coffee with old nursing friends. Painting the guest room sea glass blue because I'd always loved the color and never had time to choose it. I donated his childhood trophies, not out of anger, but because they belonged to a version of him that no longer existed. Rumors reached me through relatives, tension in the new marriage. Arguments about money. Lydia's parents pulling financial support. Adrian working longer hours, coming home to silence instead of celebration. He showed up one rainy Tuesday evening. No warning. Hair damp. Eyes tired in a way that reminded me of his father after long shifts. He stood on the porch like he wasn't sure he was allowed inside. I messed up, he said. I stepped aside. Come in. He sat at the kitchen table. Didn't ask for coffee. Didn't mention the lake house. I thought I was building something better, he said quietly. Bigger. I thought that's what you wanted for me. I wanted you to be kind, I answered. Strong. Honest. The rest was just details. He looked down at his hands. Lydia's parents are pulling the condo financing. She's angry. All the time. I keep thinking about the wedding. About what I said. About how you walked out without fighting back. I fought back, I said. Just not the way you expected. He nodded slowly. I don't know how to fix this. You start by remembering who raised you, I told him. And by treating her the way you'd want someone to treat me. He stayed for an hour. We talked about small things, his job, the weather, the way the river looked after rain. No demands. No excuses. When he left, he hugged me, brief, awkward, but real. I watched his taillights disappear down the street. The lake house papers stayed in the drawer. Not as punishment. As a question. Who will you become when no one is watching? I don't know if he'll ever earn them back. I don't know if his marriage will survive the mirror it's holding up to him. I only know I finally stopped carrying the weight of his choices. And in that space, I found room to breathe. If you've ever loved someone until it cost you your own dignity, hear this. You don't owe anyone your peace. Not your children. Not your spouse. Not your past self. Sometimes the strongest thing a mother can do is stop holding the hand that keeps pulling her under, and start holding her own. Word count, 800.